Cannabis is blowing up. I've been trying to tell y'all, invest in cannabis. But we're going to talk about a couple of cannabis stocks. Tilray, Canopy Growth, Aurora, Coronas Group, Etheria. We're also going to be talking about Sundial Growers. Talk about the chip market, the semiconductor market. What's going on, Gibbs? Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's get into it. Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And today we'll be talking about cannabis stocks, Bitcoin, and also semiconductor, also known as chips. Companies like Micron, AMD, as well as Qualcomm, all have been blowing up. So we're going to get into it and why I believe that some of these investments can pay off for you very, very long term. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's go right over to Robinhood and let's see, as far as these investments are concerned, some of the investments that you probably and should make in order to make good money during this time. Now, I just want to let the cat out the bag that even before the Reddit group, WallStreetBets, which I'm showing you right now, let me blow this up. I'm a member of this group as of about, I want to say a month ago. I've been knowing about this group, but there's been a lot of information that this particular group has been heading. So places like SNDL, that's what you call Sundial Growers, and also APHA, which is the ticker for Afrina. Okay, all of these stocks. So let's go over some of these based upon the Wall Street Bets group out of Reddit. And while a lot of these cannabis stocks are now popping because of the information they're letting out. So it says here, SNDL is your gamble play. Afia is your sensible play. Afia hasn't seen a crazy spike yet, which could happen in the wake of Tilray. We understand that Tilray has been popping. Now, Tilray is now digressing. Hopefully, a lot of you just didn't jump into Tilray because it was soaring the other day. Tilray actually got up to $70 per share. So let me show you very, very quickly. I'm going to just bring it down some. Look at right here. So Tilray essentially got up to $70 per share. Now, this is not showing the actual number, but it did get up to $70 per share live. It didn't stay there, but nonetheless, you see that it had a 384% in the past month. But now, since the Wall Street Bets is actually putting out that, hey, they're pushing on this stock, look how much this stock has dropped in the last day, in the last week. So let's go back to a day. This is the last week, ladies and gentlemen. And so we look at yesterday, February 11th. Let me get to it. This is February 10th, okay? So as we can tell, this stock was pretty much doing really, really good. And all of a sudden today is on a market correction, is on a market pullback. Now that's dropped when you consider it yesterday at $62 to $48. That's almost a $20 drop. Now we go back to the 10th. Earlier that day, it was almost up to $60, and then it dropped down to $53. But now it's definitely on a downturn. Right now, because of Tilray being so volatile, me personally, I would not be investing in Tilray. I would not be investing in Tilray. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the Wall Street Bets group. We also have Afrina. Let's look at Afrina. Afria. I always mess up these names. My apologies. But nonetheless, let's look in the past 5 years. Okay, they came out in 2018. That's when their IPO was released. So in the past year, they've been up 433%. And these are some of the stocks I've done stock reviews on. I was trying to tell people you should be pushing yourself in cannabis stocks, whether you smoke it or drink it or not. These are really good investments because essentially, what I'm predicting in the next 10 years, that majority of the 50 states of America will legalize weed under their state law. Maybe not on a federal level, Okay, maybe not on the federal level, but they will be essentially passing legislation in order for people to recreationally smoke and use cannabis with THC, not just CBD. The past month, 129%. The past week, 28%. And then today, the market is open. It's almost down 18%. Okay, and this is a lot of hype between people are going to invest in a lot of these cannabis stocks. Now, the cannabis market, since it came out, if you can notice within the past year, in the past 5 years, it's been somewhat volatile, but as of late, it's been going up, up, and up. And we can actually do some research of what states actually allow either medicinal and or recreational or both. So the list is growing. So even with the volatility in the market, it depends on what price point you actually want to be at. Because stocks like Tilray, Apria, Chronos Group, all of these could be really good investments for you. Maybe not today, but maybe a couple of months from now, maybe even next year. So we should be very cognizant and very aware of future investments. Let's go back. So they talked about Apria, they talked about Tilray, and then Sundial Growers. That is the one I had here. Give me 1 second. Sundial Growers. This is the one I did quite recently. I want to say in the past 3 months. Now, over the past 5 years, again, a lot of these cannabis stocks just became public. They came out at $13. And look at the downturn here. This is not attractive. This doesn't motivate anyone to invest in this particular stock, okay? But again, you are investing in the future because in the past year, this stock has been up 203%. We're talking about Sundial Growers. In the past 3 months, it's been up 800%. 800%. This is the number I'm looking at. Now it's up over 807%. And the past month, it's been up 404%. The past week, 194%. And the past day, almost 18%. So quite frankly, what I'm going to do, you know how I am when things start to pop, I like to ride a wave. Now this morning, as you can look, I went in and I bought me a option. Okay, I bought me an option for Chronos Group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to view this option. I'm going to cancel this option. I think I'm going to jump on a bandwagon. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon for, what was it? Sundial Growers. Now I'm looking, it says pending. I need to cancel this. Now I'm trying to cancel this option I made this morning. Now I'm trying to cancel it. Let's see here. Let's see if I can cancel it. It says your order is complete. Okay, my order is complete. So the transaction essentially went through. Let me go back. All right, there it is. Chronos Group right here. So I'm already down $60 in this one particular option. Now, if you notice, none of my options are doing well. Now, my nearest option is AMC $7 call, and that's going to end next week. Hopefully, it bounces back, but it doesn't look like it will. But I digress. Let's move on. So let's go back to Sundial Growers. Now, I believe there's money to be made in Sundial Growers very, very long term. Very, very long term with Sundial Growers. And for you option traders out there, this is a great buy. This is a great buy. But what I would do if I was you, if I was an option trader, this is what I would do. I would spend the money. I would invest the money. So I would go to trade options. I would do a call. And then I would do a call right at the share price point. Okay. So right now it's at $3.61. I will actually buy this call, but I will push this expiration date all the way out to probably April 16th. Okay. But that's going to increase that price, but you're only going to spend $250 on this option. That's going to play for you because listen, this is for $3.50. The stock is already currently at $3.59. But for fluctuation and pullbacks, you want to come around $3.50 to $3. So let's say 3.5. And already you might be losing money because again, it's dropping. Now it's at $3.47. But nonetheless, you're giving yourself time. You're giving yourself time with the expiring date of April 1st in order to make that money back plus profit. Okay. Now, as the stock is decreasing, so is the option amount. As you see, it's fluctuating. Now it's at 195 because Sundial Growers is now dropping. Now, I don't know what's occurring in the Reddit group. I don't know what's occurring in the Reddit group because a lot of times what happens is they're giving the investors who follow this group indicators and information in order to pump the stock and then to dump the stock. So again, we're just browsing this particular group that I'm a member of, and we're looking at all the information. Okay, it says 13 minutes ago, it says go APH over SNDL. Afira is a safer choice, which how much SNDL has run up. So already, if you're noticing that Sundial Growers is going down, because a lot of people in this Wall Street Bettors group is saying that it has already run its course. So essentially, it may come back again, but I still believe that an option is good. Look at it now. Now it's at $3.50. Now the option is only $220. Okay, so I go back. Let's look at APHA. Let's bounce back over and let's look at the percentage today. Now this is down 11%, but remember it was down almost 18%. So look for this to come back up. If you can see it, it's on an upturn now. So you see that the negative amount is actually going to be positive. Now let's talk about someone we haven't talked about. Let's look at Cannabis growth for the cannabis stocks. Now this came back in 2018, and over the past 5 years, it's been up almost 55%. Over the past year, it's been up 137%. The past 3 months, 92%. The past month, 40%. The past week, 3%. And then today is currently down. But if you notice, the entire cannabis market has been down. But anyway, I always tell people when the market is down, it's time to buy. You never want to buy a stock that your strategy is always buying a stock as it is going up. That is bad juju. That is bad for business, okay? So let's look into it. We already know these are all cannabis stocks, and most of these stocks, if not all of these stocks, are from Canada. So we're going to looking at Cannabis growth, Canada cannabis. We're looking at Sundial. Give me 1 second. Canada cannabis. We're looking at Aurora cannabis. Let's look at them very quickly. They've been out for more than 5 years, and over the course of 5 years, they've been up 246%. The past year, they've been down 10.63%. The past 3 months, they've been up 145%. The past month, 55%. They've been up. The past week, 26.5%. And then today, they're down as well. And again, Canada cannabis. Okay, let's move over to Chronos Group. Chronos Group, they just became public not too long ago, back in 2018 of February. And in the past year, they've been up, in the past 5 years, they've been up 160%. We're going to jump down to 3 months. They've been up 100%. The past 1 month, they've been up 37%. The past week, they've been up almost 13%. And then today, they're still down just like all the other Canada cannabis stocks. And then we're going to look Canada cannabis once again. And again, we're going to go back to Afira. We kind of already went through the timeline, but again, Canada cannabis. So essentially, when you invest in all these marijuana stocks, you're essentially investing in Canada, even though they're listing on our NASDAQ and New York Exchange markets. But nonetheless, we're looking at Tilray. Now, I used to have Tilray back when it was $146, believe it or not. I used to have Tilray back when it was $146, and I sold my Tilray. Now, I don't know if my history is on here to show you guys, but again, we're looking at Canada cannabis. Let me see if there's my history on here. We're not going to look over the earnings or this. No, my history is not on here. But as you can tell, if you have the Tilray stock, the analyst on Robinhood is telling you to hold. This stock right now, because of the Wall Street Bets group, is so volatile, I wouldn't touch it. I'm looking at stocks like Cannabis Growth and Chronos Group and essentially Aurora. Any other stocks that are not being mentioned in these feeds when it comes to Wall Street Bets, I'm not. Because they're essentially controlling certain industries and certain markets on the stock exchange. Now they're attacking cannabis, okay? Let me see if I can find any more information. They're talking about silly stuff now. Now, this is 33 minutes ago. Now they're saying Sundial grows to the moon, okay? I'm going to keep going back. Fear $35 end of the week. They're trying to make this stock pop to $35 at the end of the week. We're talking about this stock right here. Okay, currently it's down. But again, this is worth knowing this information because, again, this is only 36 minutes ago, and they're posting information live by the minute. So let me go all the way back up. This is how it looks. This is the group that everybody's talking about. All right. Smoke weed every day. This is telling people to invest in cannabis. Let me look at, let's see, this is 11 minutes ago. Wait, that's what now they're doing your own. Okay, let's keep going. They're still promoting APHA. They wanted to hit $35. So that means that people that means that people are going to start pump up this particular stock, okay? People are going to start pumping up this particular stock. Let's go over to CNBC. It was talking about how on Wednesday, shares of Tilray, Cannabis Growth, Aurora Cannabis, and Apira soared on Wednesday. It said the group. Let me blow this up for you guys. Sorry for you guys on Instagram. You cannot see my screen. The group of cannabis companies are garnering attention from the same WallStreetBets Reddit army that contributed to the epic short squeeze in GameStop last month. Excuse me. Part of the discussion of Reddit has centered around the pending merger between Tilray and Apira. This is why Tilray was popping, not so much of the WallStreetBets group, but because of the merger between these two large cannabis conglomerates that is in Canada. So that's why they are essentially betting on WallStreetBets, betting on that Apira will probably reach $35. But it doesn't look like it unless all of these guys, all these $1 million investors start going in hard on Apira. Okay, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. I want to say Apira. I don't know if the P is silent, but I digress. The cannabis companies have also gotten a boost from the Democratic Party intentions to legalize the plant at a federal level. I've been saying this for a very long time. Late last year, I came out with a video about how now that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are president, that even Kamala Harris was looking into legalizing weed on a federal level. Let me tell you, even before that occurs, even if it doesn't occur, as long as they don't put a ban down to the states to make marijuana with THC illegal, these stocks are going to do very, very well across the board. But what that's also going to happen is that American companies that's out of Colorado, Oregon, and Washington, and all the other states that have legalized recreational weed are going to blow up. So let's see how many states before we move from cannabis, how many states have legalized weed? Let's see. I know it's more than 8. Okay, I know there's more than 8. Let's see if they have a list on here. And I love this particular the way they have this. So let me blow this up just a little bit for you guys. All right, let's get these pop-ups out the way. Let's blow this up. All the states where marijuana is legal. Now listen to this. During the 2020 election, New Jersey, Arizona, South Dakota, and Montana became the newest states to legalize marijuana. The addition raised the total number of states with the recreational cannabis use from 11 to 15. They thought that most recent states to join the cannabis industry, there are notable states and territories on the ever-growing list. Okay, so let's go through some of these states. Colorado, they were one of the pioneers. Colorado, Massachusetts, Alaska, District of Columbia. There we go, DC, baby. Oregon, excuse me, had a DC moment there. Oregon, Washington, California, Maine, Nevada. And when we're talking about California, we're talking about recreational purposes. Okay, California was the first state to pass the medical use of marijuana back in '96. But on November 8th, 2016, adults 21 and older were legally allowed to consume weed for recreational. So for a lot of people, they would think, oh, weed was already legal in California. No. Medicinal uses of weed, not recreational. Maine, 2016, Nevada, Guam. There you go, Guam. Okay, U.S. territory. Michigan, Illinois, New Jersey, Vermont, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota. So already, ladies and gentlemen, there's 15 states of America that you guys can go and get high, that you guys can go in and help some of your ailments. Because essentially, we either be THC or CBD, this is the cannabinoid, that marijuana has a lot of medicinal use. And some people doesn't like the psychotic effect that it makes you essentially either tired or give you energy because, what is it? Man, I'll have a loss for word, guys. Sativa and indica. So sativa supposedly gives you some sort of indica. What it is? You said that? Okay. Oh, sativa, and then indica kind of gives you it makes you tired, I guess. Okay. But they have different effects on different people we the strands of sativa or indica. Then they have all these other different hybrids and all these other different things. If you go to states that's selling, marijuana for recreational, it's like going into a liquor store. It really is. So many makers, so many different, back in the day, people were drinking Irk and Jerk. When you was like a teenager or you weren't supposed to be drinking or you was broke, you up there drinking Irk and Jerk, brandy, Christian Brothers, brandy, what else? Paul Masson, brandy. So you have all these different makers, but everybody's still selling weed. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm making a good analogy so you guys grasp what I'm saying. But let's move on. We have some more information to actually cover. And listen, a lot of people are using CBD because if you're part of the medical industry, don't take offense to this. Whether you be a doctor, physician, a PA, a nurse, a medical assistant, but the medical industry, when you go in and you're seeing a doctor or a nurse or a physician, more times than not, what do they do you? What do they do to you? They prescribe you a narcotic. They prescribe you a drug to mask the ailment or illness that you have. So essentially, very few times you go in and you get something to treat your pain, to treat your ailment, to treat your disease, to treat your virus. You get something to mask it until your body fights it off or makes antibodies of some sort. Now, granted, there are some times where you go in, you get some medicine, whatever you have, a rash or whatever you have goes away. But essentially, if you're sick, think about it. There's no cold medicine that cures you of the common cold. It just helps your body to mask the symptoms so you feel better, but you still have a cold. You get what I'm trying to say? There's all these natural remedies that actually work better than pharmaceutical drugs, because pharmaceutical drugs essentially takes the elements from nature and put them into chemical form and then compress them into a pill of some sort so they can mass produce it and make tons of money. Because if you go to like a herbalist, they were like, hey, you need this, you need this. It's expensive, but essentially is a much healthier for your body. See, when you take these prescription drugs, I know I'm going somewhere else with this, but that's okay. You might learn just a little bit. When you're taking those prescription drugs, why do they have all these side effects? That's because these are foreign chemicals in your body. I'm not saying you won't have side effects with some of these herbal medicine doctors, but you won't have as many and it's not as invasive into your body than those chemicals. I'll move on. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been popping as well too. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about cannabis, Bitcoin, and semiconductors, aka chips, okay? So when we're talking about Bitcoin, a lot of people are trying to figure out why Bitcoin is popping. Listen, I'm not going to even get into the why when it comes to Bitcoin. I've done it time and time again. But just for shits and giggles, I will go over to Motley Fool and read what they have. It says here that the popular cryptocurrency Bitcoin briefly touched a new all-time high of 48,000 on Tuesday around 2 a.m. This is about 2 days old. And with each move higher, investors celebrate by bidding Bitcoin stocks higher today. This includes technology company MicroStrategy, which recently converted all cash not needed for daily operation into Bitcoins. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we understand that just the other day, the reason why Bitcoin is popping is very simple. A lot of times we need to know how many Bitcoins are being mined, how many people are trading Bitcoin, how many businesses are accepting Bitcoin for currency. It is because Tesla invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. That's why. See, there are certain moguls and certain organizations like Warren Buffett. If Warren Buffett comes out and say, oh, I'm selling all of my shares of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is going to tank because everybody listened to people like Warren Buffett. Elon Musk came out and said, yeah, we at Tesla, we're investing $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is popping. Then he came out and said, in the future, we're looking for people to buy our cars with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is going to be a currency converter into buying tangible objects, which it already is. But when you have a big company like Tesla and you actually have Elon Musk saying that you're going to buy Tesla with Bitcoin, believe me, if you're not already invested, you better jump in. You better jump in. Let me see if I can find that news clipping for you guys so you guys understand exactly what I'm saying and what I'm getting at. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can find the story. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I can. Let me see. Right now, you see right here, 2 days ago, that's why I was popping. Tesla purchased 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Here's what can happen next. Can you buy a Tesla with Bitcoin? Bitcoin source of all-time highs, as Muscle Test says, 1.5 billion is invested. Okay. It says that Elon Musk invests in Bitcoin. It says here the electric car company run by the world's richest person, Elon Musk, revealed on Monday that he had bought 1.5 billion in Bitcoin and said it might soon accept payment in the popular but controversial cryptocurrency. This is why Bitcoin is doing well. Really, there's a lot of indicators and mathematical propagations and algorithms and, again, headline news is one of the largest analysis and indicators to help you make sound investments. It's not the one-stop shop, just looking at news. Oh, well, they said this on the news, so let me go invest. No. It's one of the main ones because people like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Jay DeLalo, all these big-time investors and leaders of Fortune 500 companies, when they come out and say something public, you should be listening, okay? Let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on here. So me personally, I've made a little bit of money. I'm invested in Bitcoin on Robinhood, and it's also on Coinbase. So right now, my portfolio, thanks to Elon Musk, thank you, Elon. Anybody who's going to help me make money, they get an applause from me. I am up 52% of my Bitcoin. My investment was $3,400, but my equity is $5,100. So that's a total of $1,780 some odd dollars of my investment. My portfolio diversity is 15% in Bitcoin. So let me see if I can go over to, we're not going to go into all the volatility of Bitcoin. We know how this stock has been going essentially. It's been blowing up, okay? It's been blowing up. We know this. It was at 38. People was going crazy at 38. Now it's at 48. It's going to keep rising again. As I told you guys when I did one of my previous Bitcoin videos, that a lot of Bitcoin investors are saying Bitcoin is going to $50,000, $60,000 to $100,000 per coin. And so I'm going to go over to my Coinbase, which I have a little bit more shares in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. Let me see here. Make sure you guys don't get my information. Hold on. Can't show you guys all that. They popping up my passwords and that's right. I always have issues on this platform. But nonetheless, let me see. I'm up around 4,800 on my Bitcoin. I'm up 4,800. So I probably only have like 10 to 15 grand in Bitcoin, but it's all profit. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, it's mostly profit. Okay. So that's the information on Bitcoin. Again, you guys should be investing. Now, let's move over to semiconductors. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, this may not be information you really want to know, but again, you should be having an investor's mindset. Just because you're not interested in it does not make it not profitable for you. Sorry, I'm jumbling that up. But the point I'm making is just because you are not familiar or it does not interest you, you can still make money. So let's go along with this. U.S. chip industry calls on Biden administration to fund factories. So I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm going to read a good portion. A group of the U.S. companies on Thursday sent a letter to President Joe Biden urging him to provide substantial funding for incentives for semiconductor manufacturing as part of his economic recovery infrastructure plan. Now, what are semiconductors? Semiconductors are used extensively in electronic circuits. As its name implies, a semiconductor is a material that conducts current, but only partly. The conductivity of a semiconductor is somewhere between that of an insulator, which has almost no conductivity, and a conductor, which has almost full conductivity. So basically, these are microchips. That's it, microchips. They're chips, microchips. I digress. Now, it talks about here that the chief executive of major U.S. firms such as Intel Core, Qualcomm, Micron Technology, and AMD, also known as Advanced Micro Devices, signed onto the letter. All these major chip companies like Intel. Now, I don't see NVIDIA, but I do see Intel and I do see Micron and AMD. They're large. It comes as a global chip shortage, has idle factory lines, and see how these microchips affect the entire market, entire industries, right? We're just saying, oh, they're just talking about computers. No. They said that it has idle factories at Ford Motor Company and General Motors, with executives at the automakers predicting billions in loss in profits. Tight chip supplies have even made it hard for consumers to buy popular gaming consoles such as Microsoft, Xbox, and Sony PlayStation. The missing chips are mostly manufactured in countries such as Taiwan and Korea, which is Taiwan, also known as China in some cases, which have come to dominate the industry. The latter, sent by the Semiconductor Industry Association, said that the U.S. share of semiconductor manufacturing dropped from 37% in 1990 to 12% today. This is largely because the government of our global competitors offer significant incentives and subsidies to attract new semiconductors manufacturing facilities, while the U.S. does not. So what they're doing is they're calling on Joe Biden to essentially give them subsidies to have incentives so they can increase productivity and production here in America instead of outsourcing to Korea and also the Chinese, also in some cases Taiwan as well. Then it says here, working with Congress, your administration now has an historic opportunity to fund these initiatives to make them a reality. The CHIP Group wrote, we believe bold action is needed to address the challenges we face. The costs of inaction are high. Okay. So that is the information that's coming out from the chip companies. So let's look into some of these chip companies. When we go to Intel, we're going to look at their history. Over the past 5 years, they've been up 105% the past year. They've been down almost 12%, but the past 3 months back up at 28%. The past month, 12%. The past week, down less than 1%. And today they're up 0.17%. Okay. They started back off in 1968, and believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, they have 2.25% in dividends. That's not bad. Okay. Here's some of the headline news. They're talking about how they're unperforming Wednesday when compared to competitors despite daily gains. Okay. The analyst rating 38 and 38 and still at 25%. That's not looking too good. But again, if they get any executive orders or policies or legislation, they will come back strong. As you can tell, back in November, I bought 182 at 2 contracts at 0.9, and look what I made. You see this? I went from 182 to 322. So I bought these particular fractions of shares, 100 shares per contract. So 200 shares, 2 contracts at 91 cents. And then I sold them at $1.61. So that was essentially my profit. Okay. That was essentially my profit that I made in the differential of those 2 price points. Now, let me move over to Qualcomm. The past 5 years, Qualcomm has been up 232% the past year, 62% the past 3 months, 0.13% the past month, down 7%. The past week, down almost 3%. And today, they're also down. And look at the price point of Qualcomm. My particular advice for me personally, I will not be investing in Qualcomm anytime soon, not even with an option trade, whether it be a call or a put. Okay. Again, they have dividends as well. They started back in 1985. Okay. Some of the headline news here. Talking about take your cost base out of growth generation. Don't talk about growth generation. I actually invest in growth generation. Okay. I just want to step off very quickly. I'm going to my portfolio because they're talking about my growth generation. What's going on with growth generation? Okay. Here's my growth generation. I only have 20 shares. It is down. Wow. Okay. But I'm still up 62%. My profit is still up at $435. All right. I'm moving on. Okay. The analysts here are saying 70% buy, hold at 23% and 7% soil. Now, Qualcomm is a very large company. Okay. A very large chip company. I believe they will bounce back. But for me, with this particular stock in this particular industry, the price point is too darn high. I will not be touching this, okay? I won't be touching this with a 10-foot pole. But companies like Micron, they have came a long way. Let's look into it. The past 5 years, 690%. They've been up. A year, they've been up 46%. The last 3 months, 51% they've been up. 1 month, 8% up. 1 week, almost 4% up. And then today, they're up even at 3%. So Micron has been doing very, very well. No dividends to note here, but they started back in 1978. 1978 was a great year, was the best year ever, okay? You guys can probably figure out why I'm saying that. Nonetheless, we have 82% buy, 18% hold. I agree with this 100%. I am a believer in Micron. I believe with those rating at 82%, hold at 18, and do not sell Micron. I do believe by the end of the year, we should be looking at Micron close to 100, if not $100 per share. And again, for you guys who, oh, that's too high, you can invest in fractions. Don't forget, in Robinhood, M1 Finance, Stash, Webull, you guys can invest in fractions. So take, for instance, if this stock is $80, okay, this stock is $80, and you invest, I don't know, $40, and it goes up $20, you probably can make $5 to $10. You see how that works? You can still make money, not depending on what the stock price is, but where you get in at, and then the growth of that stock, how that stock increases in price. Okay, so let's move on. What else does they have to note here? Here's another one. I believe I did an option, but I counted. When was this? December 1st. I counted this option at $66 because I cashed out. Okay. Because if I would have kept that option 60, and that's why I say you want to do options at least 3 months. You see this? Because look at this. So I want to show you my option. Let me show you my option. December 1st. We're in February. If that option that I bought at a $66 call and it expired in February, March, and this went up $24, no, excuse me, it went up $18, I can't even tell you the amount of gains I would have made. All right. I digress. I move on. AMD. Let's look at AMD. This is another really good stock I believe that you guys should invest in. Over the past 5 years, AMD has been up 4,600%. That is ridiculous. A lot of people actually start putting their money in NVIDIA. I was like, hey, no, NVIDIA is good, but AMD has, in my opinion, more room for growth, okay? More room for growth. So with that being said, 1 year has been up 73%. The past 3 months, 16%. The past month, down 4%. The past week, up about 5%. And today, they're up not even 0.10%. But nonetheless, they're doing well. Now, my contracts with AMD, I have one. We're going to get into my contract with AMD. Thank God it doesn't expire to April 16th because I am not making any money right now. Okay, I'm not making any money. It's showing you right now my total return is a negative $252. Okay, but I'm expecting to make some money off this option. They started off in 1969. They roughly have 12,600 employees. It says here, one of the headline news from MarketWatch says advanced micro devices stock underperforms when compared to competitors. Okay, 50% buy, 30% hold, but 6% sell. Okay, I probably would put this at probably a 62% buy and probably a 32, 33% hold. But nonetheless, I'm still rocking with AMD. Now, here's a lot of the options that you see me guys buy over the course of time. As you can see here, August 5th, I bought shares. I bought fractions of shares at $85 to $33. And then I ran around, bought some more, then I sold them. And currently, I have a call buy that I bought back in December 14th at $120 call. Now, the only way I'm going to make money off this 120-day call if AMD reaches $120 by April. So I'm hoping. Now, the past month is not giving me the analysis that I need to make a better investment when it comes to AMD. It really isn't, okay? Even if I go by a year time frame at the peak on August 20th, it was at $90 and then it dipped back down. I could be in over my head just a bit when it comes to AMD at $120 call. I could be in over my head, but I still have 2 months to make this happen. Okay. I was a little bold on my investment. I was looking at the projection points and some of the RSIs according to AMD. Now, with this new news, I'm expecting the AMD to drop back down to probably like $80. And that's when you guys should absolutely buy. But right now, AMD is holding its own compared to the other chip makers who sent out this letter to the Joe Biden administration. So essentially, I mean, hopefully it can stay up. But depending on the information that comes out from this letter that they sent out to the Biden administration, I really don't know. But I'm hoping. And again, this is hope right now. Okay, my predictions, my analysis are all out the window. My predictions, my analysis, looking at indicators. The only thing I'm really looking at is hope and news. That's it. I mean, like Dick Gregory said, hope never fed anybody. Okay, let me get into some of you guys' notes. I know you guys have been talking. Okay, but nonetheless, my message today is it's time to invest and earn some money. Okay, it's time to invest and earn some money. Good morning, Gibbs. Good morning, Learning Every Day. Thank you for moderating, kind sir. We got Rob Deagle. Good morning to you. We got Thomas. We got China today. We got Prime X and members. Either today or tomorrow, I'll be releasing a video. So please watch out for members only. I'm gonna give you guys some good information when it comes to financial literacy and as well some future investments. And we understand when you guys become a member of my channel, I think it's like $2-3 a month. I'm giving you insider knowledge that I know that you guys can properly essentially make really, really good money. So watch out for a video either later today or tomorrow. Okay, either later today or tomorrow. So if you're not a member, looking to being a member, and ladies and gentlemen, if you have not contributed to the channel, you know, anytime that you guys donate any sort of money to this channel, it goes into better platforms, better equipment that's going to increase essentially the quality of the video. Okay. Learning Every Day says I'm rocking with Ethereum. 5,000 should be reached. Adrian says, why do you think AMD will go down to 80? Because they're reaching out for help. The market in America, when it comes to the chip market, is reaching out for help for the Biden administration to essentially create subsidies and incentives, just as well other chip makers that are across seas like Taiwan and Korea are. These companies in their particular countries, they give them all sorts of subsidies and incentives. And then when they export it, our government gives them some of those same incentives as well. But the homegrown American companies are not falling under the import-export markets, okay, when it comes to America. So essentially, they need help. They need help because when it comes to production, the market is saying we can't produce at the same rate as our international competitors. Now, the market for microchips is large. There's microchips in everywhere. There's semiconductors in everywhere. There's semiconductors in my computer, plenty of them. Semiconductors in my webcam, semiconductors in your cell phone, semiconductors in your computer monitors, semiconductors in your television, semiconductors in your vehicles, okay, in your cars. Microchips, semiconductors interchangeably are essentially everywhere in electronics. So with that being said, with the mass production of that, if they're not getting the same subsidies and incentives, they can't compete with their foreign competitors. So essentially, you'll start seeing investors pull out their investments because the market is emotional. The market is emotional. That's just like if, again, Warren Buffett comes out and say, I'm selling all of my shares of IBM. You remember when he said that? You see how IBM, that was within, I think that was when he gave that information out. It was in the past 2 or 3 years, I believe. And IBM essentially has been trying to rebound ever since Warren Buffett came out with that information. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is IBM. Now, let's just say if it was 2 years ago, I'm guessing here, but look at this. IBM was up to $151. Warren Buffett came out and say, I sold this many shares of IBM, and boom, it went to 151 to 113. Listen to this. September, boom, he said some things. It got rocky for a moment, and then it dropped to 110 based upon word of mouth news from Warren Buffett of how many shares he's going to. So essentially, once again, news is very important to the stock market. We go over here to 2020, the height of the year. IBM was up to $153, so it bounced back. But then the pandemic occurred. It was down at $95. And ever since then, IBM is recovering, but it's recovering very, very slowly. Okay? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is your stock talk for the day. I may be on a little bit later, but thank you for joining me this morning. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great and wonderful day. I'm out.